Good morning, everybody. A new day and a new aquarium video. This tank is having a bit of a problem, and that bit of a problem isn't that a bit of a problem actually. Brown algae is covering the tank and the plants, every possible surface in it. This tank is fully cycled, or at least it was fully cycled before the recent string of casualties happened. What I think happened is that due to those 4 or 5 fish deaths in this particular tank, there was a rise, or there was a sharp spike in the organic and nitrate levels that caused this particular algae boom. This is not particularly a hazardous sort of an algae. The problem is that if it covers the plant leaf surfaces, it will choke the plants. So I need to do something about it. Anyway, all the fish keepers throughout the world battle algae issues at one point of time or the other. I have dwindled the stock. These 2 angels were there from the start. I have introduced 3 more angels. This is possibly a male. This is the smallest one. The variety is, I think, blue ghost zebra, and these are. I was told that this one and what is the other one? And what is it? And this one were koi angels. This particular angel is, bossy, and I know what's the reason. Actually, this angel is the boss of the tank. This angel dominates over this one, and this frustrated poor fellow, pushes around all the other angels. It's like a chained process. Like I hit you, you hit somebody else, like this. Anyway, this tank is not actually in sort of an ideal condition, but as a fish keeper, I am not afraid to show you my good sides as well as my bad sides. Recently in my previous video, I admitted that the fish deaths that occurred, I'm taking the sole responsibility of it, and all the fish keepers, I think, should be responsible enough to shoulder their follies and their issues. Anyway, oh yes, and one more thing. You see, I have added one more filter. This sponge filter was previously installed. I have installed this. This is particularly a cheap type of a filter. I have added some bio media, which are ceramic rings that have porous surfaces for the beneficial bacteria colony to grow. Anyway, the issue that was happening was that, you see, I have used a rubber band to fasten this particular pipe. Now if I remove this band like this, see this filter stops, and this filter starts. Now in the beginning I was having an issue to realize what was actually happening. What was happening was that the resistance towards air bubbles offered by this filter, it is much more, as because the sponge is quite dense compared to this one. So same as electricity, air bubbles will take the path of least resistance. So even though the pipe length, the airline tubing length is almost same, this filter is actually taking up all the airflow. Now if I just increase the resistance of the pipe, you see this, if I increase the resistance of this pipe to the air bubbles, this will start. Which means is that when you're adding filters, it's best to use when you're actually adding filters. So there's a mess. My partner is a mess. When you're actually adding filters that will share the same airline tubing, it's best to use the same sort of filters. As if you're using sponge filter from the start, you can use one more sponge filter. But when you're using two types of filters that will share the same airline tubing, then this sort of an issue can occur. Well, it's not a big of a deal. It can be easily solved, and I just showed you the process. Anyway, it's a small tip from a novice. I consider myself to be a novice fish keeper, from novice fish keeper. Thanks and enjoy.